Hello and welcome to the Python Penguin. Today I'm going to be going over a game that I just made and how it works. And before you ask in the comment section below, the reason why I didn't use object-oriented design for this exact program, which is essentially where you get classes and you need to find them, is because that's multiple files to download for someone if I do it in a certain way. And I don't really want to make people download 12 files, put it all in a folder to run this game, because I don't think I can send a file through Discord. So that is the reason why. So, as you can see, I defined all the things up here. These things will be redefined eventually, but these variables are very important. So it tells me all this stuff, also all the information we need, like what floor is a boss floor, and damage dealt. There's also blep for a secret item, and all this other stuff. So we have the intro sequence here, which has a sleep command, and what a sleep command does is it makes it so that it essentially takes its time when it launches. So if I was to run this game, it goes like that, and as you can see, right there, it slowly scrolled to that, which makes it look like it's old and retro, and that's loading something, even though it's not really. Alright, so, also flavor text. So how the random module works is it has a function that is random choice, where it chooses from a list, such as this one, where I have all of this flavor text, and it prints it on the screen. So now if I rerun that, prints also try done run. So these are actually hints at some of the secret game modes that I added to the game, because why not? Like for example, done run, which is infinite monsters. So we have that. It's gonna close that, cancel that program, and yeah, essentially have all these start commands where it's like anything. If they enter that, then it's like really, and yeah. So here's the lore, and how you're wondering, it takes up one space, even though in the actual program it takes up multiple. Let's press enter, is because of \n. This is essentially a command that creates a new line, so you don't have all these in separate lines, because I want to make it so that it's the least amount of lines possible, so it's easier to send sometimes. Although this actually does the exact same thing as just having it like that. But I think this, for me, is better, and that is why, because people are probably not going to be looking at this part of the game. Next is this class choice, where you enter that, and it gives you a number corresponding to a class that you choose, which essentially does this, because you can define things like this. So you can have like max HP equals 8, HP equals 8. You can't have them both equal the same thing. That causes a error. So you have to do this kind of command where you define multiple variables like that. That can be done in Python, which is why Python is really, really cool. Anyway, we also have a save file, which just takes some variables if you decide to press continue, and adds it to the game. It's not like an actual save because, well, I was like, what else should I implement? And I decided to save. So, have that. There's also a few more cheat codes and stuff right there, which I'm going to scroll past. Alright, really important thing is, how do you get random generation in this sort of, in non-object oriented design? Like a very linear type programming. So, if I do this, and enter there, that is the same thing as if that's different than me refreshing the exact same page, because, well, it essentially has random generation built in. So, how you do random generation, or at least how I did random generation, there's probably a much better, less line effective, more line effective way to do it, is you take all the variables, you put them there, you define what characters and stuff you have, and then roll some dice. So, by rolling a chest die, it decides if that place should be a chest, and by rolling a monster die, it decides if that place should be a monster. And since random range always has like a 0 to the number that you inputted, -1, 0 to 3 is what this one is, and if it's 0, it puts that on the square. So, these by themselves, if I remove the whole movement, they do nothing. Like, those are just images on a screen, until I use the movement, where it recognizes those images, and it changes an effect, and it makes them work. So I'm going to flip over down to my movement page. So the movement for this game is isMove, then a command. So like isMove doneRef allows me to refresh the dungeon. If it's a command like xp give at p, it gives you xp, and it goes throughout all these lists with different sort of things. And now when I get down to here, it gets a bit more complex. So it has an if statement, like if this place, which is the place that you are currently on. So let me reopen this again. Instantly load a game. Let's go to that class right there. Alright, so I'm right there, which means I'm at place, because I've defined all these individual places, because that's what I did with the first. That's why I have that done ref command, and like dungeneration. So I call it dungeon because it's really funny to me. And dungeon is a command that lets you, because how definitions work, refresh a dungeon or roll a dungeon. So we have this. So how this works is it takes the place that you're at, and if you cannot move somewhere, for example, if I go up and I try to go up again, it does not allow that command to go through because of an else statement at the very end. So let's say that you move to place 6, which is right here. So I'm at place 6. Now you can see if I go W and type in W, it will move me to the place 3. That's how movement works. It's kind of simple. And now that I've already showed you that, let me talk about the combat. Because the combat's interesting. It's a whole bunch of coding that I threw in because I decided, sure, let's get a whole bunch of stats. That sounds like a good idea. So we started off, because it's a definition, we gotta define all the things that we want to be global, like the XP, the HP, the max HP, and those things that are global. Now you may be wondering, why is there no like max XP thing? That's because I did it with just a operation that allows it to just... an operation that does a calculation, so I don't need a variable for it, because someone said, I guess in response to the last video, I have some useless variables, and that is very true. I had a bunch of them, and now I have less? So, here we go. We have all this definition of skill, and then the level function, which I'm level 1. So if you're higher level, and this one essentially works like if level is greater than 3, we get Flaming Sword. So if your level is 4, we get that. If level is greater than 1, so if your level is actually 2, we get that skill. I did that so it's less bits because I want to send this through Discord, as I'm going to restate. And a lot of this is done, a lot of this weird optimization where I don't have enters inside it, even though that would like look nicer. It has extra bits, which I don't want to put it through Discord as I don't have Discord Nitro. So yes, this program is small enough to transport through Discord without Nitro. So, yeah. Here we go. Now, if I look at the monster's HP and monster damage, that is randomly rolled depending on the floor. So, here's where it gets really complicated. So we have is hit. So, it rolls a die, then adds your level and your accuracy, which is why you have that stat. If it's above a 19, so a 20 or higher, it does a lot of damage, double damage actually. It's a critical hit. And if it's less than, I believe it is 2 in the floor, it is not a critical hit. Also, if is hit is greater than 2, it shows this animation, but if the enemy dodges, per chance, I'm just gonna terminate this program and start another one. Alright, to show you the dodge, so I'm gonna give myself class without any accuracy, so I can see an enemy dodge. So, I'm gonna go wizard here. It's gonna do that. That's a hit. That's a hit. Hold on. I see a dodge. So I'm actually rolling a die here, so I have a % chance of it dodging. Okay. I have to heal up there. So I gotta try to figure out, gotta make them dodge, but I'm apparently getting very lucky with my rolls. But trust me, dodge works. The enemy can dodge, and then when they do, it doesn't show that animation, whereas like the enemy pops up on screen. So that is that. Gonna put this over in the corner because we don't need it right now. So let me continue going to the list. If your HP is less than or equal to 0, it prints you lose. So let's say I just go and throw a fight by not inserting a single command, or actually just typing /kill in chat. It kills you, does this whole loop, and yeah, this just kills you in combat, kills you, and then when you leave combat, it does it so it's not like I don't have to repeat it in a whole bunch of loops for every time that you can die, because there are traps in this game in the chest event function, which has 100 different chest items, which I'm just going to scroll through very quickly, so you do not see them. Alright, because I want some things to be a surprise, like the 4 endings to this game. I could tell you their names, but that maybe spoil it, so yeah. Anyway, that is how this game works. It's a whole bunch of programming. It takes about 1,000 lines of code to fully work, function, and just be good. Let me skip down to the end. 1,279, so not too many. And you also see that we have some like scoreboards, which you saw there for a second. And that's how this program works, if you were curious. So have fun if you want to play this game. There is a link in the description below to my Discord server, which is where you can find this game. And yeah, Python Penguin out, and keep on coding. Have a great day or night.